Hey everyone, welcome back to Vlogs on Campus. If you haven't watched my last video, then my name is Alice and I'm studying journalism in London at the moment, and today I've got for you lots of revision tips for A-level students. So I did my A-levels not last summer but the summer before, and I studied media studies, geography and English language, and I did maths as an AS but didn't do very well, so I dropped that. So my first tip would be to make a realistic timetable for yourself and allocate yourself certain amounts of time which you're going to be doing extra studying in throughout the week, and basically don't overload yourself. So set deadlines. What do you want to achieve that day, that week, that month even? I know a lot of people start revising probably about 2 months before. Don't put too much on your plate because you're already under a lot of pressure, so don't give yourself any extra pressure by setting yourself an unreasonable amount of revision to do in one day. My second tip would be to really figure out your learning style or your preferred revision style. So for example, for geography, the course was very heavily content based. There was a lot of keywords to know, there was a lot of places to remember, key terminology to remember, that kind of thing. So for me, instead, as well as doing sort of past paper practice, it was all about making notes on notes and using colours and highlighters to compress sort of bigger notes into smaller notes and get those keywords in your head. For something like English and media, where it is kind of past paper based revision, always be making lists of keywords to remember for those moments in the exam where you think, oh, what could be a good word here which I could kind of show off and get some extra marks for. But those are definitely past paper based, so I just did so many past questions. I must have done all of them on the website. Again, depending on what exam board you're with, there will be so many past papers online. Really make the most of those. Your teachers should be able to give you access to those. Really look out for the words actually in the question and what they mean. So typical words such as evaluate da 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 da, or describe da 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 da, or to what extent da 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 da, and actually figure out what are they actually asking me to do. What does to what extent mean? Only if you answer in a way which is more for a describe question, chances are you've already missed most of the marks. So staying with kind of revision styles, doing the actual revision itself, for me I use loads of different types of paper, loads of different types of pens, highlighters, biros. Geography revision notebook, I had an English revision notebook and a media revision notebook, and in there was just like loads and loads of information and diagrams and little keys of colour and post-it notes, you name it. I love stationery, so I had the works. Another thing would be really make the most of extra help. So I know my sixth form was really good for extra help, so 2 or 3 times a week I would go to like an extra class after hours. So I would go to like a geography class, an English class, and it would just be an opportunity to ask the teacher those questions that maybe you don't really want to ask about everyone else. I think working with friends or classmates is a really good idea because on the whole you'll be less nervous because you'll find out that you all feel the same. And revising as a group with like big sheets of A5? Is it A5? Or A2? Whatever the big sheets of paper are. We did loads of like mind maps in geography for those. In terms of working on your own or revising on your own, I know everyone says it, but like going on your phone and looking at social media whilst you're trying to study, it's not going to help you. Just don't do it. Like literally turn your phone off and put it in a drawer, kind of. Like if you're going to go on your Instagram or Facebook or whatever, just don't even bother because your mind is going to be just completely elsewhere. I think when you're studying on your own, you really need to be in the right mindset. So actually wake up and have pre-prepared the night before a list of stuff you're going to get done and think, right, have a good breakfast, maybe do some exercise, and then sit down and you are focused for the rest of the afternoon. It's so important to just be in the zone. So if that means going to a library or going to a cafe to study, then that worked for me, I remember. Of course, diet and getting enough sleep plays a huge part in how you're going to perform in the exam. If you get nervous, think about how you're going to combat those nerves. And also on the day of the exam, I'm not really one to wake up at 5 AM and cram a load of information into my brain. That's just going to make me freak out. If you've done the right amount of revision, if you've worked enough, there's nothing else really you can do. You're either going to do really well or you're going to do just average. So I think there's nothing really more you can learn in the couple hours leading up to the exam. I think it's best to just relax, be confident in yourself, and then just go into the exam and just like get it all out. Don't exhaust yourself before the exam. And yeah, I think that's it really. I think it's just all about being organised, but also not freaking out and not setting yourself too much to do. So thanks very much for listening. So make sure you check out Campus Society. I'm sure there'll be loads and loads of posts about revision on there. I wish it was around when I was doing my A-levels, so definitely make the most of it. But that's all from me, so thanks for listening and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!